Behind me here might be the best mid-bunk fifth wheel RV if you're looking for something that is smaller and more lightweight with a smaller overall footprint. There's not a whole lot of small fifth wheel RVs out in there in the market to begin with, and this here is a pretty dang good option that truly might be the best option if you're looking for a short mid-bunk. So let me know what you think. Let's go take a look. Come on. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Myles with Firmly Unbound. And today we're taking a look at the new 2026 Keystone Cougar in their half-ton lineup. This is going to be a new mid-bunk model for them. So this mid-bunk model here, it's going to be a 29 MBD. So you can see right here, and if we have the floor plan layout and specs online, we'll get them up on the screen for you, but this is a brand new floor plan from them. In fact, actually we have some of it right here on this little pamphlet. You can see weight on this is 9,125 pounds. It's 34 feet 3 inches. So a very small footprint for a mid-bunk. But man, they did a great job on the overall layout of the space in here, the amount of kitchen space that you get with this being a condensed fifth wheel RV model. And the mid-bunk room is very practical and very spacious with bunk beds that are big enough for grown adults. So we do have a privacy shade installed on the window as we walk inside. And then when we step in here, first of all, you see the door to the mid-bunk, but look at this. For a shorter fifth wheel RV, this is a really great layout. You have the flip-up armrest here where your sofas are, or where your sofa is with the recliners. So you do get the ability to either be able to cuddle up in this space, you can have your kids sit between you, anything like that, good usable space, or you can flip this down, get your cup holders, USB ports, heat and massage on the recliners as well, all when you flip that armrest down. Good windows along the camp side. You have awnings covering all of your windows as well. So there is an awning on this slide out, and we do have pull down blackout shades on the windows. Does have the balances on the windows here that is blocking the excess light bleed coming in from the sides. And then when we turn around to the right, TV is directly across from us. It is sitting a little high, so you do have to look up at it, but we do have the TV directly across from the seating space. All of this storage here for either kitchen items or your pantry. See, it doesn't go too far back though, because we are going to have some bunk storage there. And then we have a pretty standard looking dining table, just two legs there holding that table up, which is kind of your most, you know, standard minimalistic dining table setup there. And then you can take those legs out to collapse this table down and make it into another bed if you ever need to, or just a flat surface as well. Have your storage here underneath the dining table, very easy to get to with the drawers there, magnets to hold that in place. And then you have a little bit of storage around your TV as well. So we come along this way, wrap around countertop, so you get a lot of countertop space for this kitchen. It is a wrapped countertop material, so it's not a solid surface countertop. And then we have a solid wood interior drawer construction, and then staples to hold that in place. Looks like we got 4 staples there on those drawers. Do want to look underneath here as well. This is something I'm trying to make a point of checking more and more often. But yeah, no supports down underneath the cabinet doors. So they will have a little bit of sag to them, and you just got to be a little bit mindful on how much weight you load into those drawers here. Turn around this way, you have your charcoal stainless steel sink, a brush kind of gold faucet there that extends out. Have a couple different pop-up outlet towers in the space. They do have the USB Type-C connection, and they do act as a wireless charging pad. And then we have another one right here. Good window coverage all around here, so you get good views out of pretty much every side of your fifth wheel RV. And then you see you have your storage space up here, and it has this kind of frosted, fluted glass right there. Have your vent fan here, venting out smells as you're cooking, 3-burner stove. Now it is right up against the wall. This is the left-hand side of the stove, but it is gonna be somewhere where if you have a bigger pot or pan on this burner, for instance, that handle might stick out towards the wall there. And it is up against the wall with no backsplash, so just something to be mindful of as well. I know sometimes that can bother people, and to me it's not that big of a deal, but just something to point out if that is something where you want a stove that is a little bit more centered. Have a 12-volt Furrion refrigerator and freezer. Does allocate a little bit more proportion to the freezer than the refrigerator, or in terms of what other options are out there in the market. Sometimes you'll see another like 6 inches dedicated to the refrigerator space. This is giving you a little bit bigger freezer space. And then that is pretty much everything in this area. It does have dimmable lights both in the ceiling and in the slide out. So you do have these light switches here that have a kind of step down system for the dimming feature on the lights. Have the Furrion AC system in here, and it does have this remote for it. My favorite thing about this remote is it has this follow me mode. Now with this follow me mode, that basically uses this remote with the sensor on the back as the thermostat for the AC. So if you have the AC set to 65 degrees or 70 degrees, whatever it is, and you want to make sure that the room you're in gets to that temperature before the AC shuts off, you can take this remote with you wherever room you're in, and it will basically be reading this remote as your thermostat. As we go into the mid-bunk area, mid-bunk in a slide out here, look at how spacious these beds are. I will climb up into these beds so you can see how I fit in the space. Look at the ceiling height here in this top bunk, making it actually, you know, doable for a larger grown adult to get up into this mid-bunk. There's some mid-bunk models where the space is so compressed up here that it's literally almost impossible for a grown adult to get in and out of the space because there's just so much of a limitation in the amount of room you even have to move to. You basically feel like you just have to roll off the edge of the bed and hope for the best, hope to stick the landing. But not with this one, you actually can climb down the ladder. But before we demonstrate that, I have some storage space here. It does have a flip up shelf right there. It has a magnet to hold that shelf up out of the way. It's a nice little touch with that. 2 drawers here, and then you have a little cubby storage there for some shoes potentially. Have a spot for a TV on the wall. Now, granted, the spot for the TV on the wall is a little bit of a weird location. If you're laying with your head on the top bunk, you can probably see that TV pretty fine, but down here, I don't think you'll see it at all. And then right here, we have a flip down. So there are latches down underneath here that will release that to collapse down. And then in addition to the amount of sleeping space that you have here, there is even more, because you see here, this also slides out and has another bunk that is the exact same size right there. So you have 3 bunks in total under this space. The nice thing about this too is if you don't need this bunk, you do have a little bit of storage down underneath here. It's a little shallow, but it's enough space that you could put like picnic tables down underneath here potentially. You could put a bunch of board games under here potentially. So different use that this could have if you don't need the sleeping space. Be curious if you had other ideas too on how to use that other than just a bed. Now, in terms of getting up into this bunk, let me show you how that's gonna look. So as I get in front of the camera here for y'all, I'm gonna climb up into the top bunk to show you how myself at 6'1" am able to easily climb up into this space. I'm telling you, there's so many mid-bunk models where you see how my back is like kind of close to the ceiling area here. Well, if you condense this space down a bunch, then I have to really like lean down and squirm and crawl into the bunk. Up here I can just comfortably climb into this bunk. The mattress not bad actually. It's a little bit on the soft side, but it's thick enough where I don't feel like I'm feeling the base of the bed. And this bunk bed's about 6 feet long, so pretty dang good. I'm not mad about this at all. I actually really like this quite a bit. One of the better sized mid bunks that I have seen. Now, while most of what we're seeing in here, like all your cabinet doors and drawers, are all solid wood, some of these areas are a wrapped wood. So it looks like even this is likely a solid wood right there, but you can kind of easily identify where the wrapped wood is at when you get back behind here, and you can see that you get this, you know, kind of like a pressed board back behind here, and you can see where that wrapped decor spot ends. Not a big deal or anything like that. It is just to be noted that a lot of your trim pieces and things like that will be a wrapped piece. So that is going to be something that if you were to ever scuff it, dent it, or anything like that, that wrapped decorative piece is going to tear, and then to cosmetically fix it, basically the hacks that I've heard is to either color in with a crayon or the similar color marker, colored pencil, something along those lines. I've even heard melting wax down and potentially filling it in with the same color wax is also an option, but that'll be the case with some of the trim pieces throughout this fifth wheel RV. So that's your mid bunk area. It does have the sliding door here, offers pretty much complete privacy with this pocket door. Magnet latch there to hold the door shut, and you can see that really will fully close off that space. Have some hooks here to hang clothes, and then you have a bench right there where you can sit and get ready for your day before you leave, and it has this nice linen closet. So all kinds of different stuff you could use this for, and a little bit of storage up above here as well. And that door is also heavy. It just feels like a good quality heavy door. Stepping up into this step, we have our slide out controls, awning controls, 12 volt heat pads on all your water tanks, more light controls, and then we have a pretty standard bathroom setup. Has a charcoal stainless steel sink here, porcelain foot flush toilet, Nice, like that you can fold the towel over this rack here so it doesn't hang too low and get in the splash zone of the toilet. And then ceiling height up here is not terrible, but it's not great. This is the smaller Cougar half-ton fifth wheel RV. So you can see with my shoes on right now, I'm standing at almost about 6'3", and I definitely have to duck to get underneath this spot right here. That'll be the same going into the bedroom as well. But then when I go into the shower, because of the skylight, looks like we should be pretty good, yeah. With the skylight, you have height probably good for about 6'6" in this space. Does have this upgraded Oxygenics shower head. Sits a little lower than, or sits a little too low for me to not have to duck to get underneath it, but it is a wand, so you can kind of carry that around however you want, and it is a nice, high quality, even kind of weighty shower head there, so much better quality than what you typically get. So we turn back around here, tankless water heater. Does have a medicine cabinet, so this will open up and you got your storage there. Sit down here, we got our 3 drawers and then storage underneath. The sink is all just open storage right there. And then real quick, we also have liquefied here, which liquefied is a black tank treatment for your RV that's going to liquefy everything that goes into the toilet. So that is going to be something that you can find at Amazon and Walmart, and then it will make sure that not only your RV stays smelling fresh, but that the black tank keeps performing properly over time and draining out properly. Going up into the main bed area here in this fifth wheel RV, we have a king size bed in this bedroom. Flip this up. You got nice storage underneath there, strut assisted, bedside tables, has an inverted outlet. So on these Keystone Cougar models, they have various different solar options, either like a 220 watt, a 440 watt, or a 660 watt system. And in the 440 watt system and up, it will come with an inverter that will send power to these outlets to run that off of the solar system. 220 watt system will just keep the batteries trickle charged, and then you could purchase an inverter if you wanted to have that feature of getting power to the outlets. Decent storage around here. We do have a slant going down into the ceiling, and then I am in a step up towards where the bed is. So you can see I have to kind of bend over a little bit. If I step back, you see how there's a lip right there. So not a big deal, because you know, normally we'll just crawl into bed in this space or anything, but just be mindful that the ceiling height does condense down here. Second AC in this space, spot for a TV on the wall. And then we have our closet right here, washer and dryer connections in this closet as well. And we have our 3 drawers here. So my assumption on this is that it's gonna be equipped for a stackable washer and dryer that will just replace this whole area here if you wanna do both of those there. Or you could do a combo washer dryer unit. That is pretty much it on the interior. So very curious your thoughts on what you think about this new Cougar half-ton mid-bunk fifth wheel RV. Now it's labeled and kind of branded as half-ton, but that does not mean this is half-ton towable. This is definitely something that is going to be in the 3/4 ton truck range, especially with the length on it. So keep that in mind as we go through the outside. We have an ABS system on here and a road armor suspension system. This road armor suspension system here gives you 6 inches of travel, so it is one of the best suspension systems you'll get standard coming out of the factory. And then we have a through frame rack and pinion style slide out, and we have a 4-point electric auto leveling system. Fully enclosed underbelly, again 12-volt heat pads on the water tanks as well. And as we come back this way, got a ladder to get up onto the roof already installed. Very nice. We have this new Power Watchdog power inlet here. This is going to give us various different color readings, monitoring our power going in and out of this fifth wheel RV. So that is very nice too, having that there. So far, Keystone, the only brand that I've caught this on. I haven't seen it on anything else so far, but very nice to see that nonetheless. Looks like we have a 300-pound accessory hitch back underneath here, so you can put an accessory rack on the back of this. And as we go along the non-camp side, coming through here, you will have composite sidewalls on this Keystone Cougar fifth wheel RV. Got your water connections here on the outside, tankless water heater. And then we have a new water manifold system, which is very nice to see on a Cougar half-ton. I mean, to see this in a mid-size fifth wheel RV, I think this is the only brand in 2026 that will have a water manifold system in this class of RV, which is pretty impressive. You also have the Kurt Helux pin box up front. So really like to see that. That's going to absorb a lot more shock when you go over bumps in the road, when you brake and accelerate and things of that nature. Go ahead and turn these lights on. And then down underneath here, spot for your spare tire and your battery, plus your battery disconnect switch and your solar charge controller. Strut assisted on that too, which holds that open, which is nice. Leash latch right there for the pets. outside awning and slide out controls in the storage space there, and then get one more look at the outside. Very nice looking fifth wheel RV. Very curious your thoughts on what you think about this fifth wheel RV here as well. And then I'll find a little bit of a price estimate here for you before we leave. Best estimate I can give so far, since none of these are actually in stock yet, is likely somewhere in the $60,000 to $70,000 range is where this will fall. But again, curious what you guys think. I truly think this is an awesome mid-bunk option in the market, especially for something under that 35-foot mark. That will easily get you into pretty much any campground in America that you want to go to for the most part, which is really the goal with something like this. So curious what you think. Let me know down below in the comments, and then that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, live firmly unbound.